Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Rocket Lab Saturday here with Stock Trek Girl. And if you are asking yourself what is going to happen with Rocket Lab after that last mission failure, and is now the right time to buy, if you're asking yourself those questions, then you've definitely come to the right video, because we are about to take a deep dive into what is going on with Rocket Lab stock. So this last mission that Rocket Lab attempted to do, which, I mean, it got off the ground. So in a way, it was a success, in a way. But this last mission was its 41st mission. And let me tell you what, I knew I was kind of worried. I didn't want to say anything. But when I saw the name of the mission, "We Will Never Desert You," I was a little worried. I didn't want to say anything to anyone because, you know, I don't want to be one of those people, you know, because I love Rocket Lab. But let me tell you what, you know something my mama always told me? Never say never. Never say never. Like never. And it just happens to be that on this mission, "We Will Never Desert You," Rocket Lab did just that. They deserted the satellite, unfortunately. So I hope Rocket Lab learns a lesson not to ever say never on their mission patches. And also, I'm sure they're going to figure out what's going on with the problem. Apparently, the second stage had a ignition failure.
Stage separation successful.
And it was right here after stage separation that it failed to ignite, unfortunately. So the satellite was essentially lost for their customer. However, think about it. The launch itself, as far as like the first stage, the booster going up, everything went great. It was well past 2 minutes into the launch before there was a mishap. So, you know, I don't see it as a total loss. It was just like a half a loss because that second stage, but then again, for the customers, it was a total loss. So, as you can imagine, markets opened and that stock just dived. The stock failed too. Not only was the mission a failure, the stock just went down. And, you know, a lot of people are saying it was overkill. A lot of people saying it was overkill because when it initially went down, it dropped like 20%, like right off a cliff. And people were wondering what my thoughts were on the price movement. I kind of forecasted that it was going to drop down to the 450s in my last video prior.
If we were to go lower, I'm guessing maybe around 450-ish.
So it really wasn't that much of a shock to me. I kind of felt the market itself was going to do that. We were already going over the mountain as far as the chart, you know, and the graph shows. So according to my chart readings, I already saw it going down to 450. The launch just kind of escalated that, the inevitable, I think. So I don't think it was necessarily drastic. I think it was bound to happen. I just didn't expect it to happen all at once. That was just like an avalanche going down the mountain. That wasn't like a soft going down the mountain. That was just a complete avalanche. So you know, it just, yeah. It just was not good. And, you know, some of you might be thinking, Rocket Lab launched from New Zealand on that mission, right? So they launched Launch Complex 1 from Mahia, New Zealand. So if Rocket Lab launched from New Zealand, why on earth is the FAA putting a halt and investigating this launch and all that's going on? Well, I'm going to tell you why. The reason why the FAA is investigating is because Rocket Lab does have a headquarters in California. So that is in, you know, FAA jurisdiction, so to speak. And you may wonder, but wait a second, the launch wasn't in California. They have stuff going on in New Zealand too. They have headquarters and stuff in New Zealand. Yes, they do. But here's the thing. Launch Complex 1 is FAA certified. It's a certified spaceport by the FAA. So because this is FAA certified, that gives the FAA jurisdiction, even though it's in New Zealand, it gives FAA the right to go ahead and investigate what happened and, you know, who knows, put a hold on things for a while. We'll have to see. Although I must say, the last time something similar along these lines happened where Rocket Lab had a launch mishap, it was, you know, just over 2 years ago, and it took them just a little bit over 2 months, and then they were back on the pad. So with that in mind, right, perhaps this next quarter is going to be affected, but if they can get things back up and running in a couple months, then, you know, maybe, just maybe, the quarter after that won't see such a big impact. That's a maybe. So we are gonna have to, you know, keep on checking things and seeing how, you know, events unfold. But could it be a disaster for Rocket Lab? It depends. It depends. We don't have enough information yet to really go on that. But think about it. It was just the second stage. It's not like the whole rocket blew up, people.
But I do want to remind everyone that everything after clearing the tower was icing on the cake.
It's not like Electron itself just, you know, that would have been awful. I mean, we're not going to go there, and we're never going to say never. So let's just not even talk about that. The whole point is, while it was bad because, you know, the customer's payload was lost, it could have been worse, right? So let's look at these silver linings, and let's look at the, you know, learning from things. I must say, John Z, my golden retriever, is very sad about this ordeal because she wanted that shirt. She loved the little doggies that were on that shirt. She wanted to sport around and go for walks wearing that shirt. Unfortunately, I kind of heard through the grapevine that when there's a mission failure, they don't release like merchandise like a shirt for that. And I understand you don't want to go around flaunting a failed mission, but I just hope in future missions they put more little cute dog patches out there because my dog absolutely loved it. And even so, right, even so with this mishap, Rocket Lab still has a 90% success rate. Okay, given it's not as amazing as the Falcon 9, but 90% success rate on their launches is still better than their competitors. Astra, well, they blew them out of the water. Firefly, you know, Firefly still kind of has to prove itself. Although I must say that last mission that Firefly just did for the US Space Force, the Victus Nox, they had a successful mission with that. So being an investor in you know, we have to keep an eye on everything else going on in the field. So, you know, Firefly, I'm very happy for them. Congratulations. I am happy when I see anything space related become a success. Do we have to worry about it? Us Rocket Lab investors and fans? I don't think so. I think Rocket Lab still has a long proven track record and many years of knowledge, but it is something we're gonna keep an eye on. But then again, Firefly isn't publicly traded. So Rocket Lab is still our best bet when it comes to investing in a rocket company as well. Don't forget, a space systems company. So even though the launch may be a failure, it's not like the whole revenue just completely stopped, people, right? We still have our space systems. So Rocket Lab is still selling the space systems components and being a supplier. So, you know, it's not a total loss. We still have some revenue coming in, and space systems was the greatest revenue anyway from the beginning. Okay, so just relax. Everything's gonna pan out okay. As far as what I can see from now on the price, you know, I once said that I thought it could go into the 3s, and I still do think that's possible. And here's the reason why. Rocket Lab has not quite released their updated quarter guidance for their revenue coming up. Now, obviously, this mishap is going to impact their revenue guidance. So once that gets released, it's going to be a real bummer. And I think that that might pull the stock down a little bit more. Could we see the threes? Maybe in time, if the market is still faltering, if people are getting a little shaky. Yeah, it could go down to the threes. But is now a good time to buy, you may ask? Well, it doesn't hurt to nibble. It doesn't hurt to take a couple bites here and there. I mean,
come on, people. It's Woodstock. No, not that Woodstock. I mean, it's Kathy Wood's stock. Yeah, that's right. Kathy Wood just keeps on buying Rocket Lab, and she just got her hands on more Rocket Lab after that Rocket Lab mission failure. But if you ever watch Aunt Kathy, you know when she buys, things tend to go lower.
You know, could it go lower? Yeah, okay, if it goes lower dollar cost average. I just don't want to tell you, yes, it's for sure going to go into the threes, and then Rocket Lab all of a sudden out of nowhere announces good news that they're going to be going back on the pad sooner than expected, and then the stock goes up a little bit. So I'm never going to say never. We learned from that, right? For all of you that have not yet subscribed to my channel but enjoy watching my videos and hearing all about Rocket Lab, please go ahead and hit the subscribe button down below. I'd be so happy and excited to hear from you if you leave me a comment in the videos. I always love chatting with you all and seeing everybody. Also, be sure to hit me up on my Twitter/X account, Stock Trek Girl, where you can see me post updates on launches and other things, everything that has to do with Rocket Lab. And I have a special video coming out shortly, probably within the next day or two, for one of my fans, Earth Creature. You have asked me many times to do Lilium. I am going to do a video on Lilium just for you, Earth Creature. So you should be very excited about that. That is coming out. I've been working on it, and I should be doing the finishing touch-ups and releasing it shortly. So I hope to catch you all next Rocket Lab Saturday, and be sure to look out for other space-related videos. Until next time, invest long and prosper.